lounging, son.
All right, welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name's Ryan.
And I'm Manny.
And as you can see by this fucking bag with the bleeding Superman logo, we're going to be talking about the Death of Superman issue. I have had this sealed issue 75 for a little while now. I just released it from its prison last night to read in preparation for this episode.
You
And
got the armband in there?
yeah, dude. I'm gonna show it off real quick, dude. It's crazy. I never saw this stuff that came in here. Pretty fucking crazy what they were doing. Armband, get these stamps.
Yeah, I remember the card, the stamps.
Trading
Dude,
card.
I made my aunt sew a piece of Velcro on that armband, and I wore it, bro. So
That's pretty sick, dude. And then this like
that,
fake newspaper.
yeah, I had that up on my wall.
And then this fucking awesome poster, which I'm not going to be able to get the whole thing on here, but show a little bit of it off.
Dude, that poster is amazing. I had that up on my wall too for many years.
Yeah, this is I never had an original first print of this issue up until, but I had been sitting on it for such a long time, and I'm like, I was waiting for the right opportunity, I guess, for when I finally got that little tickle and like maybe want to talk about the comic. But we've been going through a lot of 90s stuff. I don't know, this for some reason I just like I was looking at it in the pile of stuff for like that I have set aside to do episodes on, and I was like, I messaged you right away. We weren't even supposed to have a third recording session this week, and I'm like, let's
fucking do it.
Let's add another recording session into this, So I love this comic. I know that there's been talk of like they should have gone harder. How much harder could you really go at DC? Like without putting a parental advisory on this thing. I think it was great. I also had never seen this cover in person. Not only did I not see I never had a sealed copy, but I think I had like a third printing. I dig this, having it be the headstone,
Yeah, dude.
and you open up and you're just immediately thrust into this battle that has been taking place over the course of, man, I don't know how many issues preceded this, but I feel safe in saying maybe around 5 issues, maybe more. Like, because it was crossing over with, just based on this checklist, Justice League was a part of it, Adventures of Superman, Superman of Steel, Action Comics. So I imagine this is like, because it doesn't say what part it is, but it had been leading up to this. And this is just a knock-down fucking fight between these two insanely strong characters.
All splash pages, because remember, the story had that gimmick where like each issue was cutting down the number of panels until the last issue was nothing.
Right, dude. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's great.
Do you have the trade? Is that what you're reading from?
Yeah, and the trade has the newsprint pages.
Oh yeah, dude, I had that same fucking trade, the old school. And that's why when they re-released them, I bought the subsequent volumes that have like, Funeral for a Friend and all that, but I didn't replace the volume 1, even though I'm sure there's extra issues in that set that they came out with. But I love the newsprint. But
yeah,
it is great. I forgot that they were slowly kind of building up the tension in that, or the level of importance, by making it less and less panels until you just get to this final thing where it's just one panel. And just watching him just get beat the fuck down, dude. Dan Jurgens, writer and artist, Brett Breeding on inks, John Costanza on letters, and Glenn Whitmore on colors. Dude, this is just, I don't know, this epitomizes 90s comics for me too. And you know what else? I think I know what fucking got me to do this. It was Rob Liefeld. He was talking about it in some of his most recent episodes, like the 9 controversies that changed that
was a good series.
So finally, like, he was talking about this, and I'm like, okay, I got to do that episode. That's why, like, I was mentioning to you on a different I was mentioning to you earlier that I would love to do the breaking of Batman's back. I love this, dude. It's just like you're literally watching an action movie take place throughout this.
Absolutely, man. It's fucking dope as shit.
And you just see the helicopter, fucking Lois is in there, fucking Superman getting knocked in with these like soldiers, right? That are fucking hovering over this entire battle too. And they're trying to broadcast this.
Metropolis Special Crimes or Meta Crimes Unit.
Yeah, I think you're right. The MCU. I love this scene too, where Superman's fucking trying to get Lois and Jimmy out of there.
Dude, classic. I mean, like, like how many times have they done the first meeting of Lois and Clark to be him saving her from a fucking helicopter, like
And it's crazy too, because usually you don't see Superman this messed up while he's flying her away.
Yeah,
And
he's
even
bleeding, dude.
yeah,
He's bleeding.
she calls it out, dude. She's like, like first Jimmy's like, man, I may be getting the greatest pictures ever, but it's costing us half the city. And she's like, are you all right? You don't look so good. And he's like, I just got to get you to as far away as possible. No telling how many lives Doomsday could take while I'm gone. And like that fucking feeling that he has of like, he's got to save them, but in saving these two people or three people with the pilot, he's risking other people dying.
Because Doomsday is just being relentless, man. He's just like literally living up to his name. He's just like a fucking force of nature, destroying everything in his path.
Yeah. She's telling him to retreat. And he's like, no,
He's
JLA's fallen. There's too many innocents in jeopardy right now. It's up to me. And then you get this amazing embrace. And I love it because it's like, hey, you're kind of breaking your secret identity here, dude. But no, he's not, because the smoke is perfectly covering the two of them.
yeah.
With Jimmy not looking. No matter what happens, I'll always love you. Always. And just like, what a great embrace, the tear rolling down her face. Dan
Yeah.
Jurgens Superman for me and John Bogdanove too are two of the
Yes.
Superman artists that are like embedded in my brain as a kid. Like
Yeah, those are the ones that I think of. I mean, I know, people say Kurt Swan, John Byrne. I mean, but that was all before my time. This was
same.
Jurgens is my Superman artist.
Yeah, he was the artist on I can't remember the exact issue that was my first Superman comic. I think it was post Death of Superman, or it might have been like a random Superman issue that preceded the Death of Superman. Probably that. It was probably one of those. But yeah, Dan Jurgens, I think, was the first Superman artist, or was the artist on the first actual Superman comic, not the comic that had Superman in it, but because I think I might have read a different comic with him in it. But look at this. This image is embedded in my brain.
Oh, dude. I mean, talk about a poster.
Just like the bruises on his face, the puncture wounds on him, like with the blood coming out. Like, yeah, you probably could have taken it a step further and really shown how much he was like battle damaged. But I
Maybe
think
some
this
missing
is
teeth
super
and shit.
effective.
But,
Yeah, I think this is super effective. And look, even Jimmy, I don't think I've ever seen the big guy so fired up. And then boom. This is a weird angle to me. This is the only thing where I'm like, this doesn't quite look right. Like the way Doomsday's kind of like bent right here, and the stance that he's in, and then Superman kind of coming down.
I guess he's like flying into him, like this whole thing's like a wrestling match.
It's great though, dude. You don't normally see Superman talking like this, dude. Nobody tears apart my city and gets away with it.
Yeah.
I don't know what hole you crawled out of.
He's trying to kill Doomsday.
Exactly. That's what I was just gonna say. Is he's not just trying to stop him, he's trying to kill this force of nature. This is such a great page too. I love showing the scope of the fight.
When it pulls back and shows you, like how much they're just tearing through the city, and like I imagine this like at like hyper speed, man. If you're watching this, it's like you can't even. They're probably appearing like blurs to you, like just like all you're really seeing is destruction.
Yeah, I mean, this is the battle I wanted to see in the movie, and I did not like what they did with Doomsday. Plus, to me, it's like. Yeah, plus it's like it didn't really build up the tension. Like Doomsday, like it was a slow build up to this. He was making his way through the fucking DC universe before finally the battle with Superman. The way he just shoved him into the ground too, and he's laughing. Oh my god, dude. I love this, dude. He's buried him under the ground. We see Doomsday now standing looking triumphant. He's still trying to get a fucking picture, dude. It kind of makes Jimmy Olsen a little dumb here. I feel like he should be a little bit smart. Like he should be like he should want to get that picture, but I feel like he should also be trying not to die.
Unless he's a very dedicated journalist.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
I love the hand coming out of the grave.
Dude, so good.
Very zombie-ish. I love this page too with him and the heat vision pushing him back like that top view.
Dude, that is one of my favorite pages of the issue too.
Yeah.
The fucking power in that. But also here, when you see how small Superman looks next to Doomsday as he's punching him in the back. And I really like this overhead shot of Superman with the heat vision. I think I mentioned it a lot when we've talked about, Liefeld's New Mutant stuff. It's an angle I really dig. I love getting the overhead view.
Yeah, so do I, man. And it's it seems to me like it'd be hard to draw with the perspective and making it all make sense,
Yeah.
But he does it really well here,
Like here, dude, look at that.
dude.
The
That
fucking
that
meat of the face.
you can feel it, dude.
Now this, I will say, I think should have had like the blood colored differently, and they purposely. It looks like they purposely did not color the
Yeah,
red.
like they desaturated the blood, I think, just to
Yeah,
like
dude.
keep it like from being
I think there should have
so
been like
violent.
bright red blood, maybe even some fucking blood coming out of the mouth to really
Maybe a tooth
signify.
flying, bro. You
Yeah.
know?
Ah, tooth flying. I mean, fuck, they're killing him. Why not make
Yeah.
him miss a tooth? But it's such a great angle, like the crack right here too, the way they do that. They also the blood here. It's like they don't want to like. I wonder if that was a conscious decision.
Be a good question from Mike Carlin, the editor, See,
Yeah. Maybe even Dan Jurgens, he's a little bit easier to
yeah.
get a hold of. I might wouldn't mind asking him that question because like, yeah, they are showing him bleeding, but like, why is the blood that color? As opposed to like other, in other comics, like even here, look at the front. The blood's red.
Yeah.
But then they downplay it here. So I love this. The fucking Superman's just fucking getting the beating of a lifetime right here. And Doomsday laughing. This is a great
I
one
also
too.
him grabbing the arms and like kind of like,
Yeah.
like almost like snapping it.
But I mean,
Dude,
look
and
at
I
that.
love this.
He calls it out. The bones are the extensions of his skeleton. He's like, yes, I finally managed to hurt him.
So you can hurt them. I love the when they punch each other too, like the punches are so powerful they're shattering glass
Yeah,
behind
good
them.
call. I was gonna mention that too. Yeah, it's pretty crazy because like you would imagine like the shock waves of the force of them punching each other, and then they're both looking like they're both exhausted, and you see it in his face. It's like in a boxing match at the end of a fight. If it's gone a few rounds, man, those boxers are looking gassed, right? So
Yeah. Oh
to
yeah.
show it here too with Superman, the cape is on the ground. I think it's a very strong image with Doomsday standing on that cape, the imagery of it, and just like both of them throwing like these haymakers with no energy left to them. Dude, I love this too. When he puts his hands together to throw
Oh
that
yeah, dude.
fucking, yeah.
Like I said, like this is some fucking like this isn't a WWE match. This is a WCW match, bro. This is a like
Yeah. So good.
or ECW, like one of those.
Ah, fuck see that here, dude. Like what? I don't know. I'm
like
wondering. I'm really curious about the blood. I know I keep
yeah,
mentioning
you got the two colors in one page,
Yeah. Look at the force of that though, dude. You can feel it. The way that they do these lines in the back and the right here, you can feel the weight of that fucking just when he just fucking smashes it on Doomsday's head. And then here, this is it, dude, where now it's being narrated,
Yeah.
Others will remember the enormous critter that resurrected from the sheer force of the blows, but most will remember this sad day as the day the proudest, most noble man they ever knew finally fell. Oh God, the writing is so good here. I just
For those
love
who
it.
love him, one who would call him husband, one who would call him his pal, for those who would call him son. Like
this right
giving
here,
me
though, in the
giving me
lens,
chills, bro.
Yeah, in the lens, in Jimmy Olsen's
I
lens,
love
that
reflective
close-up.
moments like
Yeah.
that in comics, and not nearly enough of them.
No, and yeah, like you said, for those who would call him son, you see his, Ma and Pa Kent fucking devastated. You see Lois on the TV holding Superman. We get Bloodwind, who's not necessarily, he was in Justice League at the time, but not necessarily like a very well-known character. We get Ice. We get these
Spoiler alert, he ended up being Martian Manhunter.
Right. We get these people in the background. I feel like some of them might be real people. Not sure maybe who they are. If it's
maybe
probably
DC staffers.
It's probably been mentioned in interviews. But this right here, then you get the page turn, and this is fucking amazing. As she's holding him, right? And then, dude, and then you get this.
Oh, bro, so good.
One of the most iconic images in comic book history. One of the best triple page spreads, foldouts, I think that's ever been done. One of the most effective.
For this is the day a Superman died.
Dude,
I mean, I waited in line to get this fucking comic.
Are you serious?
Man. Yeah, that's how crazy
awesome,
it was. That's how crazy it was. You had to wait in line. I remember A&M Comics waiting in line. You had to they were letting 5 people in at a time.
That's crazy, man. Sometimes I miss that kind of level of excitement around comics. And then I
Dude,
also
yeah.
feel jealous that I wasn't like fully entrenched yet because I was reading comics. I had already discovered them. I was 6 when this came out. So it's not like
Yeah.
I didn't know. I think this is November of 93. So I was about to turn 7. I was full blown getting comics. Maybe not on a regular basis, but I had my stack, and
Yeah, yeah.
man, I would have loved to have had that memory. I'm kind of jealous, But what a great fucking comic book. Say what you will, dude.
Just
I don't know. I know people say like, oh, it should have gone harder. How do you do a Death of Superman? How do you do a knockdown brawl like that without like going full blown? But I think this is a great comic book. I have fond memories of it, reading it as a kid, after the fact. I have fond memories of like what preceded, where you had the reign of Superman, introducing some of my favorite characters in Steel and Superboy Con-El. Like what came of
dude, it
this?
was a great time to be reading comics, man. I mean, I I I'm not cynical. I try not to be cynical about stuff, dude. It's the the world is ugly enough that you can hate on stuff. I'm gonna unabashedly love all this shit because
Yes.
I would not be the comic book fan I am today without these events having happened during my former years. So I would not change a thing, and bro. And I'm telling you, like when you say, yeah, I wish I would have experienced that. Like I know you, bud. You would have fucking loved it.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't put it into better words what you just said too about like loving this old stuff, And
Yeah.
yeah, I know I would have loved it for sure. Hopefully some event can happen again that can generate that type of excitement. I hope for it. I wish for it.
Yeah.
But until then, you have your memories. I have my memories of discovering the comics too, maybe not being there when they were released, but I look back at this time in comic books and I unabashedly love it. I love going through these. It's always a blast, like especially through them with somebody that experienced them in real time. So, guys, check out the 90s comics playlist. A bunch of dope content on there. Check out some of the rest of the videos on the channel. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid drops. And on that note, we're out.